Greetings, hello, and hi. My name is Drew. You are you, and keep on doing that while I tell you about some new fountain pens and accessories and other things that have become new to purchase here at the Goulet Pen Company as of this week, approximately. I also have some stuff that I want to tell you about that's not available yet that has piqued my interest. Maybe it'll pique yours. The first thing is that TWSBI is coming out with a new Eco. This one is very cool. They're calling it Irish Green, and it is a lovely green, but it's got black trim. They have not done this before, to my knowledge, so that is really cool. This one is going to launch on September 9th. They're actually calling it Onyx trim, Irish Green with Onyx. So it'll be available September 9th. So, you know, get on the list if you want to be notified when that is in stock. It looks neat. The other thing that looks neat is Colorverse's Colorvent calendar. Yes, they're hopping on the Diamine Inkvent bandwagon, and Colorverse, noted ink brand, is getting in on the fun. That is the holiday opening one ink a day until Christmas train. So this one is more expensive than the Diamine Inkvent, so I'm curious to see which one people will pick this holiday season now that they've got two options instead of just one. So that's pretty neat. I'm actually surprised it took this long for another company to do that. Diamine's been super successful with it for, 5 years now. So yeah, about time if you ask me. Now we got options. Cool. Let's get started with stuff that we do have here in stock. Fire and Dice. This is a new Retro 51 fountain pen and pencil set that we designed here in-house. It's a sequel to another pen that we had, the Fire and Dice, just the Fire and Dice. This one's called the Fire and Dice 2E, which we're calling, this one's going to be a fighter pen. So whereas the original Fire and Dice just had a dragon on it, it had a dragon. It was an amazingly cool dragon. But it was a dragon. This one is going to have an actual party member. So these were very much inspired by, tabletop gaming. And in this case, here I'll show you the two pen case so you can see exactly what the design is. We've got a fighter there with a one-handed sword, a shield, and of course, a lot of dice around. So a lot of the same design elements as the Fire and Dice original with the dragon, but now we are featuring an actual party member. So the human male, in this case, fighter, is one of the most popular characters in a certain tabletop game. And we felt that if we did want to build a party, this was the fellow to do it with. So we do have a dragon there up at the top. We've got lots of different dice located around the barrel of the pen. You'll see a lot of details. And there's our fighter, our bearded, stoic fighter. It's got really cool armor details. The artwork is really sharp. I think the sword looks incredibly good. And then, of course, all the dice are accurate. We've got fire, we've got arrows, we've got weaponry, we've got dragons. And then, of course, we've got a D20 right up at the top so that we can always have a critical hit while we're writing. We also have a pencil available. And check out this artwork, too, by the way. You've got this rad little fighter going up against a fire-breathing dragon. And this is an exclusive, as I said. We've got a couple more things here in the pencil version. We've got a stack of erasers and some additional lead. This is a pretty sizable lead, but this will put the pencil at a little higher of a price than the $57 rollerball. The pencil is going to retail for $70, but of course, there's just more engineering that goes into this thing. And yeah, it is a twist pencil, so no clickies there, so you get to really control every last millimeter of your ink, of your lead. I'm really just not used to saying that word. So this is available as well as its rollerball companion, and if you wanted to get them both, you could, because we've got the two pen koozie here, and then we've also got a single here as well. The single is going to be $21. It'll fit one of these, and then the two pen koozie is $29. So both of these have this lovely royal plush lining, so your pens are going to be very, very well protected. Your pen and your pencil, I should say. So it's really neat. Rickshaw does these cases. All of their cases are incredible. and we're really excited to launch this pen. If it's successful, maybe there will be some other party members joining our fight in the future. We shall see. But for now, we've got the Dragon, and now we've got the Fighter in Fire and Dice 2E. All right, next up we've got a Conklin Duragraph. This is also an exclusive, and I think it's really cool. So let's take another look at it here. This Conklin Duragraph has matte black trim in the cap and the barrel, and then we've got a crystal clear, matte black trim in the cap and the ends here, as well as the grip section, and then a clear middle. It is not an internal piston. It does have a converter in there, but the converter hardware is also black, so it really just fits the vibe really well. It's not a fingerprint magnet sort of black, which I think is really cool. Some sort of satin blacks are just very, very sensitive to oil. This doesn't seem to be one, not with my hands anyway. We've got the Conklin logo up there. We've got nice ruthenium trim, or gunmetal trim, I don't know, but black nib there with the trademark Conklin crescent. Very comfortable, smooth grip section, which also matches the finish of the rest of the pen. And then inside here, we do have some, non-satin black trim, here beneath the acrylic. And then we've got a satin black end piece there, which threads to post, which is pretty interesting. First time I've seen that with a Duragraph. It is pretty far back there when you post it. That looks pretty long, but it's not a heavy pen, so it doesn't really bother me. If I really needed to keep track of my cap, I would totally do that. Like if I was on the go, if I was, standing up and writing or something like that and didn't have a free hand, then it's good to have. And then here's the aforementioned converter, which is just perfect for this trim. You'll see that this kind of more shiny metal matches this portion of the pen. So it all really does come together nicely. And even more nice is the fact that this is only $64. You've got a JoWo German steel nib there, and then this really sleek looking demonstrator as well. So big fan of this pen, bigger fan that you can only get it here at the Goulet Pen Company, but yeah, I think this is one of the best Duragraphs Conklin's come out with in a long time. So happy about it. I am also happy about this pen. This is a Kaweco Liliput, and the Liliput is probably my favorite Kaweco that I own. The aluminum one specifically. I have the aluminum green one. They just came out with the aluminum blue. This pen is only $66, and it looks and writes really well. Well, I don't know how well the blue one writes, but the green one writes really, really well. And I'm actually always surprised at how well it seals too. It is always ready to go, and this color is just stunning. So we've got some Kaweco logo up at the top and on the side of the cap, and this thing is tiny, y'all. It is a small pen, very much a pocket pen, and it is aluminum, so it is light, very, 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 very light. Obviously this is so tiny it's only going to take a cartridge, but that's fine. This is for on-the-go writing. And then you post it here, and boom, you've got what I consider to be a full-size pen. Nothing's coming close to falling off of the inside of my palm while I'm writing. So I think this is a great pen that, doesn't stay short once it's all assembled. So you've got a little Kaweco nib up there. It's the same nib you'll find on the Sports. It's tiny, but it does the job. And then, like I said, it caps remarkably well. This thing seals surprisingly well for, what you'd think it would, but it's super resilient, super durable. Obviously, it's aluminum, so it's not going to fall apart on you. And then there we go. We've got our converter. We've got a cartridge in there. And yeah, that's the long and short of it. There's not a whole lot else to say. It's a great pen. I love mine. I think $66 is a great deal for this little guy. I think that anyone who gets it will not be disappointed. If you look at it and you think, oh wow, it's a small aluminum blue pen, I might like this. You're not going to get this in your hand and be like, wow, this isn't as blue as I thought it would be. This isn't as small as I thought it would be. This isn't as lightweight. Yes, it is all of those things. It is just as lightweight as you probably, maybe lighter than you think it is. It is strikingly blue, so you're not going to be disappointed by this blue. And it writes really well also. Surprisingly well. I remember I got mine because it was such a good price. I always wanted a Liliput, but all of the other ones are super expensive. Well, not super expensive, but twice the price of this. So I finally got that green and I have loved it. So I encourage you to keep it on your radar. If it's not a must buy, at least consider the aluminum Eco, the aluminum Liliput. All right, Opus 88 is not a brand that we discuss very often, but this one is swimming into our eye line right now because it's a whale. So Opus 88 is pretty interesting. Right off the bat, you're gonna see that it comes with a glass eyedropper. Pretty sure that's glass. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's glass. So it comes with an eyedropper because this is an eyedropper pen or a barrel filler, whatever you want to call it. It is that. So the Opus 88 demonstrator is this model. Now we have another demonstrator that is just this model, but totally clear with no awesome whale going on. But this one, whale, is much cooler because look, it has this amazingly beautiful design with a whale, with blue geometry throughout. We've got a little spout here up at the top, and then even on the grip section, we are greeted with whale tail. So it's a lot of fun. If you don't already have an Opus 88 demonstrator, and because you've just been waiting for something a little bit more exciting, this is what you've been waiting for. $150 with a JoWo steel nib, just like we saw on the Conklin there, but with a very simplistic stamp there, or laser etching. And I do like that. I think the simple JoWo looks really cool. So, you know, the design is really the main showcase here, and you can see it is pretty detailed. You've even got little notches cut out of the whale's tail there. It's been through some stuff. And then, yeah, the detail here is really something else. But you might be wondering, well, Drew, what about that? Oh, what is this? Hang on. What we got? Oh, we've got hands holding the earth. Looks like it's all one line. That's really neat. Drew, what's the deal with this eyedropper? Well, the Opus 88 pens are unique in that they are all Japanese-style eyedropper pens, which means they are filled by removing this grip section here and then directly filling the barrel with ink. You just pour the ink right in there or use the eyedropper included to fill this entire barrel with ink. You see that there is a little gasket in there that is operated by the knob here, but this does not actually fill the pen. All this does is either, you know, kind of open or close this section from this section. So this is obviously what takes ink from here to the nib. But if this black gasket is pressed all the way down and it's there, it's going to come into contact with that hole there, thereby sealing off the flow of ink. With eyedroppers, they generally give you a really high ink capacity, and that's great, that's what you want. But along with a massive ink capacity, that can just kind of fool with capillary action a little bit. You have a big ink capacity and a little output. And if it's too big, sometimes you might get, you know, things like burping or leaking, things like that, where you're writing and then all of a sudden a big blob will come out. Sealing off the back of your reservoir can help minimize that. And then all you need to do to just get things flowing again is to open it back up. You could leave it open if you want, maybe nothing will happen, but they include that as a feature, just, you know, as a bit of protection against unwanted excessive ink flow. And you'll see that on, from what I've seen, all vacuum filling pens as well. So it's a fun little unique thing. Again, Opus 88, $150. The blue whale looks awesome. The clear demonstrator is our most popular model. A lot of people love it. This one's got a design on it. So there you go. Anyway, Benu. We've got a talisman to talk to you about today. This is a sandalwood Benu talisman. And this one is allegedly infused with real sandalwood aroma. So a little bit. Oh, whoa. I was told that if you smell the inside of the cap, yeah, there's definitely there inside the cap. Woo! So I guess it dissipates Yeah, wow, okay. So there's definitely some inside of here. Exterior-wise, not getting a whole, what? See, now it's out in the air. Now I'm getting it. Okay. Anyway, there's definitely some sandalwood scent going on here. That's the thing with the Talisman. So the Talisman is one of Bennu's models that is very heavily geared toward having things included in the pen that is indicative of the name. In this case, we're looking at a sandalwood, but they've also come out with like mandrake and edelweiss, and all of those things have been actually infused into the material. With this one, I think it's mostly the aroma that's been infused into the material. I don't know if they have actually included any sort of sandalwood in the resin. Maybe they did. I wouldn't put it past them. It is limited, so you see that there's only going to be 300 of these made, and if you wanted a pen that smells lightly of sandalwood, wait no longer. Bennu, in just the way they do things, just wait until they hit that perfect target. Somebody was waiting for this, and now they have it. So the Euphoria is a faceted model. This one, the Talisman, I guess you could still call it faceted, but it is, I guess I would say, intermittently faceted. So these facets, as you can see, are like more oval, elongated, rounded facets that are less uniform than those on the Euphoria. Other than that, the form factor is very similar, the weight is very similar, the grip section is identical. So if you are a fan of the Euphoria, there's no reason you wouldn't also be a fan of this one. And of course, you know, the design and the detail is really striking. We've got a Schmidt nib here, and now I know that F in the middle of the nib means that it's a fine nib. Seems obvious now, but I did not know that up until recently. Schmidt converter in there, and then the pen will also come with a long cartridge in the box. This pen is $172. It is limited. It's available. Next up is a biggie. So Esterbrook coming out with the Back to the Land collection, and we're talking about these 3 pens, we're talking about another 3 pens, we're talking about 3 pen cases. It's a whole big collection, and there's a lot to show you, so we're just going to get right into that. So the Back to the Land pens consist of 3 different colors. There is 6 pens, but there are 3 different colors, and these are all the same. So the presentation is definitely something we want to take a look at. First off here, we've got Funky Lake. And we've got some information here on the back of the box that you can read a little bit about the inspiration for. Funky Lake, Incredible Rock, and Quirky Leaf. We're getting funky now, though. And the funkiest thing in here is the fact that we've got this really cool Tyvek bag filled with an ink sample. It's some bluish ink sample. I can't really, it's kind of hard to get out of here, but anyway, it's a blue ink sample. I don't really know what color it is, but it's Funky Lake. It's Funky Lake Blue. So this one comes with a free ink sample, and then each of these are going to come with a unique gift. In the case of the Funky Lake, the ink sample is the unique gift. All of them are also going to come with a second bonus, and that is this, a magnetic pen loop. So once this gets removed, you get a suede pen loop. Each of these is going to match the trim color of the Estie. In this case, Funky Lake has brown trim, which I think is really cool. I just think it matches really well. I think blue and brown just make it happen. So this one, as you can see, has an ink window. I shouldn't have picked this one first. Should have waited on this one, but whatever. They've got a piston version as well. So these are going to be a little bit more expensive. The normal Estie is going to be $175.50. The piston version is $225. And it's not just any piston. It is a push piston. And that means we've got a button here that you want submerged into ink. You just press this a few times, boop, 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 and now it's filled with ink. Hooray! It's kind of like the Con 70 converter that Pilot has, if you've ever used one of those. You just push it to fill and then push it to empty, and you've got an ink window. The other ones do not have that. But the other ones will have one of these, the suede pen loop. Let's say this is your notebook here. You want to take this, put it on the side of your notebook, wiggle that out a little bit, cap your pen, of course, and then you will just slide this into the side of your book and then go about your life. So each one comes with this. Each one comes with a bonus gift. We'll take a look at the rest of those fun gifts here in a second. But this is Funky Lake, the piston version, the push piston version of Funky Lake to be precise. And it's a pretty rad looking pen. Very heavily themed. Esterbrook really went all out on this one, as they are known to do pretty much all the time. They don't phone it in when it comes to theming and presentation. So let's move on to this one and what we're going to look at. This is Quirky Leaf, and right from the get-go, we're going to see that the fun little bonus of Quirky Leaf is a nib wipe. It's a nib wipe keychain, so you can take it with you wherever you go, impress your friends, hoorah. And then we've got an orange pen loop with this one, thereby matching the orange trim. So Quirky Leaf is green and orange. The non-piston versions are going to have a little bit more of a pop of color because that ink window is replaced with this cool colored thread. So if you like the pizzazz of the little color pop, then maybe don't get the piston, I don't know. Another option that you can do when choosing these pens is to go with a custom nib on some of these. So we've got a converter in there. The custom nib program has been extended to the Quirky Leaf, the Incredible Rock, and the Funky Lake. So you can get those custom nibs by, you know, Kirk Spear and Josh Lax and CY and Gina Salarino on these pens. So those are going to be more expensive though. Those are going to be up at $229 because those custom nibs are pretty special. But they are available on this pen. They're not currently available at our store on the piston versions, but they are available here on the cartridge converter versions. The nibs are steel. They are Yovo nibs, both on this one and on the piston version. And then they also have this lovely Esterbrook cushion cap here that creates a really nice seal when all is said and done and you are ready to store your pen. And all right, now it's time for the third and final pen, the Incredible Rock. And that one, let's see, what could the special gift in here be? Do we know? Oh, what is it? Groovy Scents for the open road. What? It's an air freshener. Citrus of some kind. We're smelling everything today. The pen. And this, we've got two smells. When has that ever happened, y'all? Okay, yeah, some sort of citrus. It's still in the package, so it's light. I can't say just how exuberant this scent is going to be once it is set free, but if you are sensitive to scents, it makes sense to leave it in the package. But no, you're not going to get hit with a big smelly impact upon opening your pen. So even if you are sensitive to this stuff, you can just discard it. But I think that's pretty cool. Doesn't smell too bad, actually. All right, so Incredible Rock. Quite incredible. This one is, I think, my favorite one. Brown and blue, I'm telling you, love it. So the other one was blue and brown, and this one's brown and blue. So just how brown heavy do you want to be? But nothing else to say about this one. It's the same as the other ones. This, again, is the regular one, not the piston one. The piston one is also going to have an extra trim ring back here where you operate the blind cap to get access to the push piston itself. So this one's a little bit more simple. But then again, it does give you the extra little bit of trim too. So you can do a piston, you can do a regular, you can do a custom nib. Options are there for your back to the land Esterbrook SD pens, but that's not all because we've got pen cases as well that go right along with the Esterbrook Back to the Land set. These are pen cups. So yeah, Funky Lake, Incredible Rock, and Quirky Leaf. We're gonna take a look at this one. We've got Funky Lake here. I don't think I need this. So Funky Lake, it's a bag. So this is the to-go cup, Esterbrook's to-go cup. Initially, we might find it totally cinched up like that, drawn up for travel. This is empty, doesn't have any pens in it, but it could be full of pens. But then when you're ready, you just take this, you pull that back, you open up the drawstring. There's a little magnet clasp here that you'll undo. There's a little bit of elastic here, and then you'll fold this down, and then you'll have access to your pens. It's got this little dude in here that acts as a 6-pen divider. So you've got that happening. Essentially, what we've got there is just kind of to separate the inside of the cup into 6 panels. You could also leave it open and just cram everything you want in there. But if you did want to get your 6 pens in there, you'll have a nice, like microfiber-y sort of feel. Definitely keeps things safe. And then you can have it rolled down to access everything, and then you roll it up, magnet, cinch, and then you go. And you can swing your pens around. No, don't do that. But it's a beautiful color, and then of course all the other colors are gonna match the pens as well. And you've got this nice Esterbrook stitched patch on here as well. It's a canvas bag, very solid, and then a leather drawstring. That's very fun. So a very unique pen case. This cup I think is the only one of its kind that I've seen, so it's not every day a pen case comes out that's like, oh, well that's new and different. That's just not usually a term used for pen cases, but this one is new and different. So I'm into it. You can get these for $59.95. So again, 3 colors in this, 3 colors in the pens. However, there are different versions of the pens. So hop online, check those out. There's a lot to be said about this collection. Hopefully I said it, but as always, there's more information on the website. The Delta Amalfi. That is this pen. Let's just take a look at this one, because it's different. This pen was one of Delta's original offerings before the company closed its doors years ago. And since it reemerged and began cranking out pens again from its original factory with all the original parts, Brian Goulet, who was a big fan of this pen, asked them, do y'all have enough parts to continue making some Amalfis? And the answer was yes, they certainly did. So it has been resurrected, and you can get it here at the Goulet Pen Company for a limited time because there aren't too many. I believe they're numbered somewhere. Here we go. I don't know exactly how many they're making, but they're not going to be around forever. But you've got a whole lot going on. First of all, it's a wood pen, predominantly. So this is a beautiful, beautiful, oh golly, what kind of wood is this? Like olive wood or something? I don't know. But we've got wood, we've got, I think it's just a cartridge converter, yeah. So cartridge converter pen. We've got a Jowo gold nib, blue acrylic, wood, well, blue acrylic, gold trim ring, wood, red acrylic, gold trim, more blue acrylic, a compass stamp, and then more dark, a different kind of blue acrylic, some white acrylic now. That same blue acrylic comes back. There's more dark blue acrylic, and another gold trim ring. So you've got light blue, you've got dark blue, you've got white, you've got red, you've got gold, you've got wood. It's a lot. It really is a lot. And you've got some more compass vibes here on the clip, which has a wheel on it, which is nice and fun. So it's a very comfortable pen. It's just a very comfortable pen. It's a bit wide, but not too wide, just a very comfortable wide, I would say. And this wood feels absolutely amazing. Super smooth and light too. It does post. That makes it a little back heavy, but not bad. It's not a heavy pen. The pen is up there in price. It's $556, but it's kind of an endangered species. So it's a relic of Delta of old. If you wanted to be a part of that, you certainly could with this pen. There is a whole lot going on. It looks a bit, you know, this cap almost makes it, looks like it belongs to a different pen, you know? If you told me these didn't go together, I would believe you. But when you cap it, yeah, there it is. That's the Amalfi. Technically, it is the Magnifica Amalfi is what these are called. That's why it says that right there. Magnifica Amalfi. All right, that's the Amalfi. Certainly a unique pen, but we have it available for a limited time. And some people absolutely love it. Some people think there's too much going on. You be the judge of that. I'd love to hear. All right, next up, we've got another Delta. This is the DV Original Oversize. And I have talked to you in the past about this one, but this one has a new trim color. So this has resin made by Jonathan Brooks of the Carolina Pen Company, and it is Delta's most beefy pen, the DV Original Oversize, DV standing for Dolce Vita, and this is $716, so it is certainly up there. It's got all of the same proportions and design elements of the So this is, sorry, did not mention, this is the Riviera Blue. So it has all of the same dimensions and features as the other Riviera Blues that I showed you in rose gold and ruthenium. However, this one has Palladium trim, which, is in effect silver. We did not have those earlier. This trim is an exclusive trim color to the Goulet Pen Company. We've got a large, similarly themed, silver gold nib. It's a number 8 nib. It's a very large and beautiful green ebonite feed there, which just looks really sharp, like literally sharp. Look how clean those edges are. And it is, surprisingly, a cartridge converter pen, not an internal piston, despite how large this thing is. But it's one of the largest grip sections we sell, if not the largest, which makes it very comfortable. Golly, those are a lot of threads. So very comfortable pen, not super cumbersome, not as cumbersome as it might look. Yeah, so again, I talked about this. It's a nice pen. It is going to be limited. We've got the number there. Only 25 available, but they're all here at the Goulet Pen Company. So check them out if you happen to be curious. All right, next we're going to move on to some sailor pens, all of which are part of the newest Manya collection. So this is the third Manya collection, the third series that they've done with these similar themes, and maybe the best. I don't know, but they're good. So let's take a moment. Let me show you the box first. All right, so let's take a look at what is in the box. Now, these boxes are all going to look the same. They're all going to come with a pen, a converter, and an ink, but the ink is not going to be the same. Here we have the Bamboo Shoot Manya Pro Gear Slim, and then we have Nagi, the ink that it comes with. This is not going to be the same with each pen. Bamboo Shoot comes with Nagi. The other ones are going to come with different things. These inks have not yet been released, so this is the only place you can get them right now. But it is a blue-green ink in this instance. Most of the ink do have a pretty good correlation with the pen. But now that that's out of the way, let's look at the pen itself. So Bamboo Shoot, here we go. We've got a little bit of a teal-y blue-green here barrel, and then translucence here on the cap and on the finial here. And then you'll see a little bit more pizzazz up at the top. So again, you've just got a little bit of that translucent green, the blue-green, translucent green, blue-green, translucent green, and more translucent green. So just the back and forth between these two colors looks really cool. All of them are going to be like this in terms of their color balance. But yeah, 14 karat nib, since this is a Pro Gear Slim, so it's not going to have the 21, which doesn't really matter. Like, you're not really going to notice a difference. But posted, it feels amazing. I love this pen posted. It is a smaller pen. This is fine if you like smaller pens, but really, I think not only does posting feel more comfortable in my hand, but it completes the look. I mean, just look at that. That is just, I love it. So Bamboo Shoot, this is a good one. And all of them do have a really cool little medallion there up at the top. I guess this is a bud of some kind, bamboo bud? I don't know. I don't know my bamboo. Next up, we're going to take a look at this one. This is Chestnut. And, oh, golly, I'm having a hard time deciding a favorite. I will have a favorite at the end of this segment, but I don't know. So Chestnut, obviously, there you go. You've got your cute little chestnut there. And then we've got, I guess this is a gray. What do we think here? This is a gray brown? I'm saying gray. So once again, it is all balanced with this beautiful kind of, it's not, these barrels aren't completely opaque. They do have a kind of more of a milky look to them, and there is a bit of a flow. You can tell where they're thinner, they do kind of lighten up a little bit, and then where they're thicker, they're a little darker. So I would imagine that some of these, like you can see that there is some translucence there. Not a ton, but it's not flat either. You do have some depth there, which I like. Again, the posting just completes the look and the feel of this pen. They are quite lovely. So Chestnut is a winner, in my opinion. And the ink that comes with this one is called Kuri, which is a brown ink. So maybe this translucent color is brown if they're pairing it with a brown ink. I don't know. But I do know it looks cool. Might be my favorite. I don't know. Because we've got Gourd coming up. New challenger. And this one, I'm going to say that this is olive green up here. It looks gray, but when you compare it to this, it definitely has more green in it. So I believe this is more of an olive look here with a red barrel and medallion finial here up at the top. And there you go. We've got somewhat of a gourd there, I suppose. And then let me just, that is gourd, right? That doesn't, Am I wrong? Yeah, well, if I'm wrong, I will correct it on the video. But yeah, so red and olive all together. And this one's got gold trim. The other two that we looked at have been silver so far, so this one definitely has gold. I think it does look good with the gold. And yeah, that's a beautiful combination. Not a combination I would have put together, but when Sailor does it, it seems like it always works. And I don't know how they do it, but they do. All right, next up is persimmon. And let's look at that. See that? Is that persimmon? That looks like grapes to me. Am I crazy? I also don't know my persimmon. I thought this looked more like persimmon. Maybe. Who knows, Drew? I've never had a persimmon, never held a persimmon. So let's just look at the color, okay? Let's not worry too much about how persimmon-y it is, Drew, since you have no idea what you're talking about. I do know that this ink, this pen has a kind of a blurplish, blurplish barrel. And, you know, it is, these pens are really tripping me up with these colors, y'all. I'm really struggling. That's blue? That's blue. It's more blue than purple, for sure. But it is quite royal. Again, with gold trim on this one. And then the translucent parts. I'm going to go with translucent orange there. The ink that this one comes with is Budo, which is a blue-purple. So perhaps this is a blurple. I'm not sure. Going back to the gourd, this one does come with an ink. It is a light red ink, and it is called Sumomo. And finally, the last one is Red Bean. And now this one tripped me up so much, I had to look it up to make sure this is Red Bean, and it is. And that is not a dolphin jumping out of the water. It is Red Bean, I'm guessing. It looks neat. I just don't know my beans and my persimmons and my gourds, so I'm woefully out of practice with all of these terms, but it's a pretty pen. We've got kind of a lavender gray barrel and finial here with some translucent purple in it as well. Going back to silver trim now, which again, I can't picture this with gold trim. I think they made the right call there. It's lovely. Another semi-translucent barrel. This one probably more translucent than some of the other ones. Let's just see if, what do we think? Do we think there's some, no, not really. You see a little bit back here where the, you can tell that it's darker here where this is inserted into the barrel. So there is some translucence, but honestly, unless you're going to get a flashlight behind it, you're not going to notice. But it does help make sure that these barrels are not flat. I really think that does matter. Even if it's not what anybody would call translucent, it definitely avoids that look of flatitude, which no one likes. And together, these things just look really fantastic. I'll make sure I have lots of good photos for you as well. But it's a beautiful collection. I think all 5 are really, really lovely pens. And I don't feel like they're pens that we've seen before from Sailor. Like sometimes, you know, you look at Sailor's pens, you're like, they've come out with so many different color combinations. And sometimes I feel like, have they done that one before? But I don't know. I look at these and they're all unique, fun, new, and interesting as far as my eyes can tell me. So anyway, that is the Manya set. Again, these are going to be $236 and they are available now and will be available in the future. So, and finally, we've got 3 new SCRIBO pens. We have got a Puma and 2 Ledotta pens. We're going to talk about those now. All right, so let's talk about this one first because it is definitely the loudest and most interesting of the 3. The Puma normally is a more affordable alternative than this right here, the Ledotta or the Feel. So the Feel and the Ledotta being pretty similar, the Puma being, you know, more different in just, you know, its overall shape. So this one is normally less money. This one is not though, this particular one, because as you can see, we are dealing with a whole lot of hand-painted additions on this particular one. This is the Ara, and I recently learned that Ara is the genus of birds like, you know, the macaw and, you know, all those crazy-looking parrots that you see out in the jungle. So that's definitely what has inspired the colors of this pen. And golly, look at the brush strokes are so much fun. I haven't seen this pen up close yet, y'all. This is really, I'm kind of getting lost here. That is really, really gorgeous. So this is a limited edition, as are all three of these Scribos that we're going to be talking about today, and we have not carried limited edition Scribos just yet, so we're kind of experimenting with it. So we have very few of these in stock. I hope that they will be available when this video goes live. They should be, but they won't be around for long. We do have them in some flex nibs though, this one being the extra fine flex, and these flex nibs do work really well. They're very well made. And they're made by, these nibs are made, and the pens are made actually, all using the same machinery that used to make the old OPUS pens. So the Puma is available now for $670. So it is up there for sure, but this is a pattern that I've never seen before on a pen, and we may never will, I don't know. But it's definitely something special, and you do pay for special. All right, so let's move on to the Ladotta. We've got two of these, the Levante and the Travertino, this one being the Travertino, obviously. And then we've also got two trims, which I think is one of the more interesting elements of these two. Also limited edition. These are both going to be $590. But let's talk about this one and its rose gold trim. So the Travertino here has a different set of trim than the Ladotta pens that we have carried in the past, having rose gold on the end, the center, and here on the cap. We've got the signature Scribo feather there. And then we've got a little bit of transparency in the material too, which I really like. The brown in the Travertino's resin has a bit of translucence to it in some areas. It really does have more of a depth than I'm able to capture here on my phone, but let's take a look at the nib. Ba-bam. You've got that same dark rose gold, almost bronze nib. And again, this is going to be gold nib, but, and you know, flex in this case, fine flex, but it really does complete the look. So you've got an entirely kind of dark rose gold, bronzy trim going on. It's a very comfortable pen as well. This one, unlike the Puma, is an internal piston. This one, the other one that we're going to look at, and the feel, which is basically the same pen but a faceted version. But that one is, the feel is not available in these limited colors. So again, there's the Travertino, again, $590, and the Levante is the one we're looking at now with the beautiful chatoyance there, just a strikingly gorgeous, punch you in your face turquoise, and then we're looking at ruthenium, or you know, kind of like a dark gunmetal gray trim on this one. So essentially the same pen, but with a very punchy trim. And just pairing such a dark trim with such a light color, I think is a really fun idea, and I think it works really well. So again, this one is an internal piston filler for $590. It is limited, and you do have a little bit of shimmer there, if you can see. Golly, that's a fun pen. Very shiny. All right, so all of these Scribo pens, including everything that I mentioned today, can be found in the links below and on the gouletpens.com website. And then if you wanted to check out the coming soon section, they've got more than what I mentioned at the beginning of this video as well. Lots of fun stuff coming down the pipeline for us. For now though, thank you for giving me the opportunity to chat with you a little bit today. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Have a great day. Have fun. Right on.